Hi, this is Representative Rick Larsen with this week's Weekly Recap with Rick. You've heard me say a million times that I am the ranking member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, or what we call the T&I Committee. That means I'm currently the top Democrat on that committee, and this committee had a very busy week this week. This week we came together once again to advance bills on a bipartisan basis through the committee to the House floor. I reintroduced my legislation to require airlines to have resiliency in operations plans so that they have an off-the-shelf go-to plan for when things go wrong in terms of travel plans for you. And this was legislation I had put into the FAA reauthorization bill last year. It was pulled out in the conference committee, so I've reintroduced it this year to try to keep that moving, to limit the impact of flight disruptions on you when you travel. The committee also advanced legislation to direct the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, to update its guidelines and guidance on mental health policies for pilots, for air traffic controllers, and other employees that otherwise require an FAA medical certificate. And the committee advanced legislation to direct the U.S. Coast Guard to update their merchant mariner credentialing exam. Right now, the exam tests for things that we really don't have merchant mariners doing anymore because technology has increased. The technology of boats and ships have changed. We need to be testing for things that are current on these ships. Also this week, the Department of Transportation released funding for 529 projects throughout the country, several of which are in Northwest Washington State, including funding for the Nooksack Indian Tribe to remove a culvert in Jones Creek under a BNSF railway in Acme, and funding for the Whatcom Transit Authority, or WTA, to replace 8 aging diesel buses with low and no emission buses, and several more projects as well. So I'm glad to see the department is now releasing some of these projects, but we are going to be pushing Secretary Duffy and the DOT to do more, to release more money, more of these projects, so that we have job-creating infrastructure investment continuing in Washington State's 2nd District. That's all for me for this week's recap with Rick, and you'll see me next week from the district. Thanks a lot.